Well, it's Groundhog Day. Again. And that must mean that I am Professor Robert E.G. Black, and this is the Groundhog Day Project.
It's one of those infinite time loop situations you might have heard about.
It's a thing where the same day keeps happening.
Time.
I wake up every day right here, right in Punxsutawney, and it's always February 2nd.
The last revision is what counts, apparently.
We're on minute 45 of Groundhog Day, in which, well, Phil's talking to Rita. That's pretty much the whole minute, but he's talking to Rita on the street, talking to Rita in the diner. He is figuring out what makes her tick, and she is pushing right back to find out something about him. I said before that every conversation with Phil is kind of a battle. I think they're both doing okay in this one. As they're walking away from the van, I would point out something. They are apparently the last van to leave, which might be because they're already having engine trouble. We don't get a good angle here, so we don't see, maybe Larry is right there working on the van. He's up by the engine. Not sure. Maybe he went off to find the local automotive garage, which, if you go by the musical, is owned by Ralph and Gus, which means it's currently closed, which means he's not going to get what he wants, and he's going to have to wait. It's funny that they I was going to say oh my god, I just forgot the movie for a second. I was going to say it's funny that they're trapped by a blizzard and then trapped by van trouble, except the van trouble only exists because Phil is doing it. And technically it shouldn't be happening yet, because until we actually see it happen, I think it's safe to assume it isn't happening. Phil is not already removing I'm forgetting what that thing is that he pulls out. I don't know car engines. I know I looked it up for my blog, but I don't remember what that piece is called that he rips out. And, of course, there's a goof on IMDb that says he wouldn't have been able to rip that piece out because it's actually in that model of van. It's underneath something else. But, this isn't reality. It's a movie. Get over it. Anyway, they're walking away from the van. They seem to be the only news van still in town, so the other ones have already left. Rita's checking their tape, was she transmitting it to the station just now? Is that what's happening? We don't get a tall enough angle here to tell whether the antenna is up. Maybe they're broadcasting it, and they have to finish doing that before they leave. I don't know. They're not broadcasting, they're narrowcasting, sending it to the station, so the station can edit it into their next segment. If you like random extras, in the background we see someone wearing white sweatpants, which is probably the same guy with white sweatpants, and he has I don't know what you call that hat, but they use them on Russian guys in movies a lot, the big furry hat that folds up on the sides. He has a black hat, and he's wearing sweatpants that are white, and we saw him right before the bank robbery a couple minutes ago, and we see him walking around the square a few times in the movie. They have a few extras here that show up a lot, and I like that, because it makes it feel more real. We don't want to see Punxsutawney as a town where every time we see people, it's someone we haven't seen before. We should be seeing the same people over and over, because that makes it feel small. And it's supposed to feel small. It's supposed to feel like essentially this town is just the town square and some houses, so that Phil feels trapped. Is this for real, Phil, or are you trying to make me look like a fool? See, Rita's calling him. She gets it. And he says, I'm just trying to talk like normal people talk. Isn't this how they talk? Close. Okay, so talk to me. Let me buy you a cup of coffee. And I love this because he says that. They're both still walking. She doesn't immediately answer. So he adds, and a donut. And she says, all right. So reluctantly and so just yeah, fine, whatever. Which I'm guessing, if we could assume that Phil is already messing with the engine. But I don't think he is. I think the first time we see him do that is the first time he did that, or does that, will do that. So I don't think he's doing that already, but maybe she was just checking the footage so that they could send it over, and it takes a little while to send it. I don't know how that stuff works. I know they can do live signals, so I imagine a video clip shouldn't take that long, but maybe she was editing it. Maybe she was double checking it and then sending the package over the antenna. Meanwhile, Larry wandered off to get a coffee or something, and so they have to go find him anyway. And so they go to the diner, and do we get a quick exterior establishing shot of the tip-top? Yeah, I believe so. They don't immediately get in. They wouldn't, because there is a line, as we will see later on God Day. There is a line, there is a crowd. But they get the table. They get the same table they had before, the same table they will have later. The table next to them is Ralph and Gus. Table beyond that is Nancy, who in this minute we see standing and talking to Doris. So it's a slightly different timing than usual. Which makes sense, because in this scene, we don't get put that anywhere, pal. We don't get the tray falling. This is a slightly different timing. But not quite. Not too different, because it's still same people at same tables. Which means probably Debbie and Fred are behind us on the right when we can see Gus and Ralph and Nancy, and just kind of behind us when we're seeing Phil. And then right behind us when we're looking at Rita is a table with a family of 4. To the right is another family, and the old man with the red hat is over at the booth at the end. Doris's brother's in the kitchen. Annoying dancer guy is over waiting for a table. The woman with the long blue coat is waiting for a table. We get to know these people. See, I'm like Phil. I watch this movie so many times that I get to know the extras. I gave a lot of them names. And a lot of them have names. Well, not a lot of the extras, but a lot of if a character talks, they probably have a name in this movie. Like, the last couple of minutes I pointed out, Phil's date, the dresses as a French maid, her name is Lorraine. Laraine. That's from an earlier version of the script. Mrs. Lancaster's first name is Florence, although they give her a different first name in the musical because I think someone didn't notice Florence or thought the other one flowed better. I'm not sure why they changed it, or if they just forgot that she was named Florence. I call her Florence, or Mrs. Lancaster. And I'll name other people that have names when I get to them, obviously. Phil asks, so what do you want out of life anyway? And Rita says, I guess I want what everybody wants, career, love, marriage, children. I'm not sure if all of those are things that everybody wants, but in a way, we should want those things. It is normal to want those things. Does Phil want those things? I don't think so. He wants a career. I think he's learning that he wants love, but he's not quite there yet. Right now, he just wants sex. He wants to exploit. He wants to be and do what he wants. Does he want children? Oh, I'm pretty sure no. Phil doesn't want children. Does he want to be married? There's probably a part of him is like settling down with a good woman, be nice. But right now, no. Does Rita want it right now? No. Right now, I think she's focused on her career. That's why she's just become, this is like her first producer on location job, at least with Phil. She's still new. Phil responds, are you seeing anyone? She says, I think this is getting too personal. I don't think I'm ready to share this with you. And then immediately asks him questions, which feels like they're getting a quid pro quo sort of thing going. What's the layers? Not... Fine, insert the Shrek clip, me editing. If I didn't, you know the clip. Onions. Onions have layers. So does cake. They're a nice parfait.
For your information, there's a lot more to ogres than people think.
Example?
Example? Okay, ogres are like onions.
They stink?
Yes. No.
Oh, they make you cry?
No.
Oh, you leave them out in the sun, they get all brown, start sprouting little white hairs.
No. Layers. Onions have layers. Ogres have layers. Onions have layers. You get it. We both have layers.
Oh, you both have layers. Oh. Not everybody likes onions. Cake! Everybody loves cakes. Cakes have layers.
I don't care what everyone likes. Ogres are not like cakes.
I was trying to think of the communication studies majors for grad school. What is the layer thing? I talked a lot about it when I wrote about When Harry Met Sally in the blog. Oh, this kind of thing I should not be blanking on. Well, if I am paying attention editing and not just cleaning up the audio a bit, maybe I'll jump in now and be like, it's called blank, and it was originated by whoever.
It's called the social penetration theory, and it was originated by Altman and Taylor.
Or maybe you just look it up yourself, but the idea that the way we enter into relationships is we slowly peel away layers, is that we give some information, we get some information. We give a little more information, we get a little more information. And it's the only way we create a relationship is by that quid pro quo transaction sort of thing. That's how you get to know someone. If you don't really get to know them, you're not really in a relationship with them. And I don't just mean a romantic relationship. Same thing with friends. For a long time, I didn't think of people I played Dungeons and Dragons with as my friends. Even though we definitely were doing this one thing every 2 weeks, and we hung out and we talked about stuff, whatever. But then we were doing stuff outside of Dungeons & Dragons as well. We had other game nights. We went to escape rooms together. We went to Ren Fair together. We went to movies together. And then it was more obvious that we were friends. Like, that's a label that fit because we were essentially exchanging more and more time, more and more information. We were having shared experiences outside of just this game where we were playing fictional characters. It's this idea that there are layers to it, and we peel back the layers one by one by one by one. And the more layers we can peel back, the more attached we are to the person, because the more we know about them, the more we understand them. Rita asks, how about you? What do you want? And Phil says, what I really want is someone like you. And Rita scoffs. Oh, please. He says, well, why not? What are you looking for? Who is your perfect guy? A lot of people will say in this movie that Phil is trying to become Rita's perfect guy later in the movie. I don't think so. I think it's mostly a coincidence. I think he's just exhausted the bad options, so he takes the good. And the good just happens to align with. Rita is supposed to be a good person. Someone who cares about other people. So what she thinks is a perfect guy, and I'm putting air quotes on perfect, what she thinks is a perfect guy is good. It's something idealized that we might become if we go to these good options. And that's why it matches up with what Phil does later. The film is essentially agreeing with Rita. She says, well, first of all, he's too humble to know he's perfect. And he says, that's me. Which is hilarious. Great first response. We'll get more of the conversation next time because that's all I got for minute 45. As we cut off with, that's me. Phil is humble as fuck. He's the most humble person that ever lived. Till next time, go do something fun. Take care of yourself. Take care of others. And if you need to be taken care of, let someone take care of you.
You knew you were going to say that.
This has been a production of Lemming Drops Studio. You can find links to more at lemmingdrops.com or join the Facebook group Lemming Drops Studio Tour. Also, you can support all my shows at patreon.com/lemmingdrops.
What is wrong in the end which never comes? Or which comes again and again, lapping, like waves.
Since the Big Bang set everything in motion, everything that happens in this universe has to be the way it is. Particles unfolding the way they're destined to.
How do you sleep at night? You've never seen Groundhog Day?
Yeah, you know Groundhog Day is not a documentary.
Remember when Groundhog Day was just a movie?